The Galactic Council had always been a symbol of peace and cooperation. It was made up of representatives from different species scattered across the galaxy. Each species had its own unique culture, technology, and way of life. The Council's primary goal was to maintain peace and prevent any conflict between the various species. Over the centuries, the Council had been successful, and the galaxy remained calm, with most species focusing on exploration and trade. In a quiet corner of the galaxy, the human empire was slowly growing. Humans, unlike the other more advanced species, had not made a name for themselves as powerful space travelers. They had a small but growing presence on distant planets, focusing mainly on expanding their own colonies. They were known for their curiosity and their ability to adapt to new environments quickly, but many believed their technology was far behind the advanced species that made up the Galactic Council. Most sought humans as a young species, still learning the ways of the universe, unimportant in the grand scheme of galactic affairs. But then, something strange happened. One of the Council's deep space monitoring stations picked up a signal from an unknown source. The message was unlike anything they had encountered before. At first, the message seemed like static, an unimportant glitch in the vast network of signals from across the galaxy. But the station's analysts couldn't shake the feeling that something was different. The frequency of the signal, the way it cut through the noise, it wasn't like anything they had heard from any other species. The Council was alerted, and a special meeting was called. Inside the Grand Chamber, representatives from various species took their seats. The air was filled with hushed voices as the members of the Council gathered to discuss the strange signal. The room was large, with walls that shimmered with the colors of distant stars. As the representatives settled into their seats, the tension in the air was palpable. There had been peaceful years, and no one expected something as unexpected as this to disrupt the calm. "We must investigate immediately," said Zorak, the leader of the Julians, a species known for their technological expertise. His eyes glowed with concern as he spoke. "The frequency is too unusual to ignore. It could be a signal from an advanced species, or a warning of something worse." "I agree," said Larina, a representative from the Aquarians. "But the humans have not shown any sign of advancement like ours. We should not rush to conclusions." "But what if they are more advanced than we think?" asked Threx, the representative from the Vornox species. "We cannot afford to be caught unprepared." The debate went on for hours. Some argued it was best to ignore the signal and continue with the usual routine, while others believed immediate action was necessary. But in the end, it was decided that a team of the Council's best scientists and military leaders would be dispatched to investigate the source of the signal. The Galactic Council had never faced a situation like this before. After the strange signal was discovered, there was a mixture of worry and uncertainty among the representatives. Each species in the Council had its own reasons for feeling nervous. Some were worried about the humans' potential, while others were too proud to believe that a young species like humans could be a threat. The Council's Grand Chamber was filled with the sound of voices, some loud and others soft. Members argued, exchanged ideas, and discussed what to do next. Some were calm and collected, while others were visibly nervous. The debate had been going on for hours, but it seemed like no one could agree on a solution. "We cannot ignore this," said Zorak, the leader of the Julians. His deep voice echoed through the chamber. "This signal, this is unlike anything we've encountered before. It could be a sign of something dangerous. We must act." Lyrina, the Aquarian representative, crossed her arms and frowned. "We do not know for certain that the humans are behind this. They have never shown any advanced technology in the past. We should wait and observe. Jumping to conclusions could lead to unnecessary conflict." "But what if they've been hiding their true capabilities?" asked Threx, the representative from the Vornox species. His large eyes glowed with concern. "We cannot risk being unprepared." "I agree with Threx," said Ursana, a member of the Council who represented the Trilivians, a species known for their expertise in diplomacy. "The humans may be young, but they've proven themselves capable of survival in hostile environments. We should consider all possibilities. The debate grew more heated as the hours passed. Some members argued that the humans should be kept under close surveillance, while others pushed for a diplomatic mission to make contact. The Council had never faced such a complex situation. The peaceful years had made many members soft, unwilling to take risks. But now, the arrival of a signal from an unknown source forced them to reconsider. "We cannot afford to be weak," said Zorak, standing up in his seat. "The galaxy cannot remain calm if we are faced with a new, unknown power. We need to take action now." Ursana raised a hand, signaling for calm. "Let's not make hasty decisions. We need more information. We will send a team to investigate the source of the signal, but we must approach this carefully. There's no reason to assume the worst." After a long silence, the Council came to a decision. They would send a diplomatic envoy to make contact with the humans, but they would also keep military forces on standby. The meeting was adjourned, and members slowly began to leave the chamber, deep in thought. As the representatives returned to their homeworlds, a sense of unease settled over the galaxy. No one knew what would happen next. The peaceful days of the past seemed distant now. The humans, who had always been seen as a small, insignificant species, were suddenly a mystery, one that could change the entire course of the galaxy. The day had finally arrived. The Galactic Council had made its decision. A diplomatic envoy, led by a team of the Council's best negotiators and scientists, was dispatched to the edge of known space to investigate the strange signal. They traveled in one of the Council's most advanced ships, prepared to make contact with whatever or whoever was behind the mysterious transmission. But when they arrived, nothing could have prepared them for what they saw. Out of the darkness of space, a massive human battleship emerged, cutting through the stars like a shadow. It was like nothing the Council had ever seen. Its design was sleek and efficient, but its size was overwhelming. The ship dwarfed any vessel the Council had in its fleet. It was silent, almost as if it wasn't there at all, blending in with the blackness of space. The human ship slowly approached the Council's envoy ship, and for a moment, there was complete silence in the control room. The Council diplomats exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what to do next. They had expected a human ship, but not one like this. It was clear now that the humans were far more advanced than they had ever imagined. Just as the tension in the air reached its peak, a soft chime echoed through the ship. The crew received a communication from the human battleship. The message was clear and direct. "This is Commander Rhea of the Human Empire. We are aware of your arrival. Please prepare for contact." The voice was calm and steady, but there was an underlying confidence in it that made the Council diplomats uneasy. They had been prepared for negotiations, but not for such an overwhelming presence. The humans had made it clear they were in control. The diplomat in charge of the Council's envoy, an experienced Trollivian named Ursana, quickly composed herself. "This is Ursana, on behalf of the Galactic Council. We have come to understand the nature of your presence here and to discuss your intentions." For a long moment, there was only silence, broken only by the hum of the ship's systems. Then, to the surprise of the Council diplomats, the human ship's massive doors slowly began to open. A ramp descended, leading down to the surface of the human battleship. "We have been waiting for this moment," Commander Rhea's voice echoed over the communication channel. "Step aboard, Ursana. We have much to discuss." Ursana exchanged a look with the others. The humans were not what they had expected. This was not a simple first contact mission. The humans were offering a direct invitation, an invitation to meet them on their own ship on their own terms. As Ursana stepped forward to board the human battleship, she could feel the weight of history hanging in the air. The future of the galaxy was uncertain now. The peaceful days of the past seemed distant. There was no turning back. The human ship towered above them, and as Ursana and her team moved towards the entrance, they couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and fear. What had they just stepped into? What did this encounter mean for the galaxy? The moment Ursana and the Council's team set foot on the human battleship, they were struck by the contrast. Everything about the ship felt raw and unfamiliar, yet undeniably powerful. The walls were dark, made of materials the Council had never seen before, and the atmosphere seemed alive with energy. There was a quiet hum as the ship's engines pulsed beneath their feet. The sleek corridors, lined with high-tech equipment, were lit by soft, steady lighting, making the place feel like a living organism. Commander Rhea was waiting for them, standing confidently at the center of a large control room. The humans, unlike the other species Ursana had met, had a certain intensity about them, something that felt both welcoming and intimidating. They did not appear worried or uncertain. They had no fear in their eyes, only calm resolve. "Welcome aboard, Ursana," Commander Rhea greeted, her voice calm but commanding. "I trust the journey was comfortable." Ursana nodded, though her mind was racing. The human presence was overwhelming. This wasn't the first contact they had hoped for. The humans had more power than the Council had ever expected. "I am honored by your invitation," Ursana said, trying to steady herself. "We are here to understand your intentions and to see what brought you to our galaxy." Rhea's gaze was steady. "Our intentions are simple. We seek to learn, trade, and expand our horizons. We have seen the potential for cooperation, but we are not here to bend to anyone's will. We are here to shape our own future." The room fell into silence. Ursana could feel the weight of Rhea's words. The humans were different. They were strong, direct, and not afraid to take what they wanted. This wasn't a peaceful, timid species. They had power, and they were willing to use it. Before Ursana could speak, Rhea stepped toward a large screen on the wall. She flicked a switch, and the image of a distant alien fleet appeared. Ursana's eyes widened. The fleet was massive, and it was clear that they were closing in on the human ship. "This is the fleet of the Firenecks," Rhea said, pointing at the image. "They've been watching us for weeks. They believe that they can intimidate us. They will soon learn how wrong they are." The humans were not afraid. They had already prepared for this moment. As if to prove it, the ship's weapons systems powered up, lighting up in a steady, calculated rhythm. Ursana could see the enormous cannons and energy shields on display, all ready to strike. "You see, Ursana," Commander Rhea continued, her voice steady, "we don't just survive, we thrive. When faced with threats, we respond with force, but we also adapt. The Firenecks will learn what it means to face the human spirit." Ursana felt a chill down her spine. The humans were not just another species to negotiate with. They were a force in their own right. And if what Rhea said was true, they had the strength to back up their words. The ship's control room suddenly came to life, the crew moving quickly and efficiently as they activated the ship's defense systems. Ursana watched in awe. The humans were not just technologically advanced. They were organized, disciplined, and ready for anything. "Now," Rhea said with a smile, "we wait." As Ursana took in the scene, she couldn't help but feel both a sense of dread and respect for the humans. They were powerful, and that power was now focused on them. The peace the Council had fought so hard to maintain was in danger, and the humans were at the center of it all. The tension inside the Galactic Council's headquarters was palpable. News of the humans' sudden appearance had spread across the galaxy like wildfire. No one could ignore the powerful demonstration from the human battleship. A force like no other had entered the galaxy, and the Council was divided on how to respond. Back in the Council chamber, representatives from different species sat in their seats, their eyes fixed on the massive holographic display showing the image of the human battleship. The Firenecks fleet, which had been ready to challenge the humans, was now nowhere to be seen. Rumors had begun to spread that the Firenecks were retreating, perhaps scared by the human response. The news left the Council in shock. For the first time in centuries, the peace that had been so carefully maintained seemed to be crumbling. "This is beyond anything we've faced," said Zorak, the leader of the Julians, his voice sharp. The humans are not what we expected. We underestimated their strength. Lyrena, the Aquarian representative, shook her head. We cannot panic. We must remain calm. The humans are offering peace. They've made their intentions clear. But their power. Threx, the Vornox representative, interrupted. His large, glowing eyes narrowed. They demonstrated force without hesitation. That is not a sign of peaceful intentions. It's a warning. The room buzzed with nervous energy. Some representatives pushed for diplomacy, hoping that an alliance with the humans could be forged. Others, however, were certain that the humans would not stop at peaceful coexistence. The fear of the unknown was beginning to creep into every conversation. We cannot allow one species to disrupt the balance we have maintained for centuries, said Ursana, the Trilivian diplomat, as she stood before the assembly. If we allow the humans to grow unchecked, they will reshape everything. The galaxy's peace is at risk. There is no denying their power, Zorak agreed. But there is also something about the humans. They're different. They don't act like conquerors. They seem determined, almost like they believe they have a right to their place in this galaxy. That's the problem. Threx growled. They believe they are entitled to dominate, to take what they want. And we are foolish to ignore that. Ursana paused, looking around at the faces in the room. There was fear in their eyes. Fear of change, fear of the unknown, and fear of the humans' overwhelming power. They were at a crossroads. If the Council didn't make a decision soon, the galaxy might be pulled into conflict. The humans had made it clear that they would defend their territory, and their technology was advanced enough to back up that promise. We must decide, Ursana said firmly, her voice carrying weight. We cannot continue to delay. Either we prepare to stand against them, or we learn to coexist with them. The room fell silent. The members of the Council were trapped between the hope for peace and the fear of being overwhelmed by a force they did not fully understand. The future of the galaxy was hanging by a thread, and no one knew which path would lead to safety. The days that followed the Council's emergency meeting were filled with uncertainty. The debate about how to handle the humans continued, but one thing was becoming clear: they could not ignore them. The human battleship, a symbol of strength and power, loomed like a dark shadow over the galaxy. Every species, whether they feared the humans or saw them as a possible ally, knew that something needed to be done. In an attempt to ease tensions, the Galactic Council decided to send a small delegation to meet with Commander Rhea again. The goal was to understand the true motives of the humans. Ursana, the Trilivian diplomat, was selected to lead the mission. She was calm, measured, and known for her ability to negotiate under pressure. Perhaps, the Council hoped, she could uncover the humans' true intentions. As Ursana and her team boarded the human battleship once again, there was a sense of both fear and hope. The first meeting had left them with more questions than answers. Would this meeting be any different? Commander Rhea greeted them with the same calm confidence as before, but this time there was a slight change in her demeanor. It was as if she had been waiting for this moment. "Welcome back, Ursana," Rhea said with a small smile. "I trust you've had time to consider our offer." Ursana nodded, but her eyes betrayed the uncertainty she felt. "I spent many hours considering it, and I must admit, I have many questions. The galaxy has lived in peace for so long, and now, with your sudden arrival, everything seems uncertain. Why have you come? What do you want from us?" Rhea's expression softened, and for the first time, Ursana saw a glimpse of vulnerability in the human leader's eyes. "We did not come to disrupt your peace, Ursana. We came because we have no place else to go." Ursana blinked, surprised by the answer. "What do you mean?" Rhea sighed and motioned for Ursana to follow her. The group walked down a long corridor, the hum of the ship's systems filling the air. "Humans have always been adaptable," she began, her voice low. "We've faced countless challenges in our history, from wars to natural disasters. We've survived it all. But now, we're at a crossroads. Our population has outgrown our planet. Our resources are stretched thin. We need more. We need to explore beyond our own world." Ursana listened intently as Rhea continued. "We've sent scouts into the galaxy, searching for peaceful solutions. But we don't expect anyone to simply hand us what we need. We're not asking for charity. We're asking for a chance to prove ourselves. We want to build relationships, share knowledge, and trade. We want to learn from you, just as much as we hope you can learn from us." Ursana paused, absorbing Rhea's words. "So, you are not here to conquer?" "No," Rhea said, shaking her head. "We are not conquerors. We are survivors. We seek partnerships, not domination. But we will defend ourselves. We will not let anyone take what is ours. And we will not be treated like lesser beings." The honesty in Rhea's voice struck Ursana deeply. She realized that the humans were not the villains they had once assumed. They were a young species, but their strength came from something different: resilience. They had built their power not through conquest, but through survival, through their ability to adapt and overcome. The galaxy was not facing a threat from the humans. It was facing the reality of a new powerful species, one that would no longer remain in the shadows. The Council could either embrace this change or fight against it. But one thing was certain: humanity was not going anywhere. After Commander Rhea's revelation, the Galactic Council was left in a state of confusion. The humans were not invaders, not conquerors, but they were still a powerful force. Some members of the Council felt relief. Others, however, feared what the future held. Ursana, still processing the information she had learned from the human leader, returned to the Council's headquarters with a heavy heart. The peace they had enjoyed for so long now seemed fragile, as if the slightest push could send the galaxy tumbling into chaos. Some species were eager to work with the humans, seeing an opportunity for trade and advancement. But others were not so willing to accept this new reality. In a closed meeting with the Council leaders, the debates grew heated once again. "The humans are a risk." Threx, the representative from the Vornok species, shouted. "We cannot trust them, not after everything we've seen. If they are not conquerors now, they will be in the future. They will not stop until they take control of everything. But they have no desire to dominate." Ursana replied firmly, defending the humans. Commander Rhea was clear. "They seek partnership, not war. We need to understand them, not fear them." "I agree with Ursana." Lyrina, the Aquarian representative, added, her voice calm. "The humans have made their intentions clear. We should engage with them and see where this leads. But we must approach this cautiously." Cautiously. Zorek's voice was sharp. "The humans have already shown they are willing to fight for what they want. They proved that by disabling the Firenex fleet, we cannot afford to underestimate them. We must prepare for the worst." The room fell into a heavy silence. The debate seemed endless, and no one was willing to back down. The Council had never faced such a crisis, and no one had the answer. As the meeting continued, the situation outside the Council grew more tense. The Firenex, who had initially retreated, were now regrouping and preparing to confront the humans once again. Rumors swirled that other species were joining the Firenex, forming alliances against the humans. It seemed that the galaxy was preparing for war. In the human camp, Commander Rhea watched the growing tension from her battleship. The reports from her scouts made it clear that some factions in the galaxy were preparing for battle, and the humans would not stand idly by. But Rhea knew that the humans were not interested in starting a war. They had only wanted to be accepted, to find a place in the galaxy. "We must be ready," Rhea said, her voice quiet but filled with determination. "If they come for us, we will defend ourselves. But I still believe we can avoid war." Her officers nodded in agreement, but the weight of the situation was clear. No matter how much they wanted peace, the humans were now a target. The fear in the galaxy was palpable. And though Rhea remained hopeful, she knew that sometimes survival meant standing firm against those who wanted to destroy what they didn't understand. As tensions escalated, The future of the galaxy hung in the balance. The humans had made their stand, and now the Council had to decide whether to risk everything for peace or to prepare for war. The tension between the humans and the Galactic Council reached its peak. On one side, there were those who believed the humans were simply trying to survive and find their place in the galaxy. On the other side, there were those who feared that the humans, with their immense power, would soon seek to dominate all other species. As the Council struggled to make a decision, the Firenecks and their allies grew bolder in their preparations for war. The first spark of conflict came unexpectedly. The Firenecks, who had retreated earlier, launched a surprise attack on the human battleship. They had decided that now was the time to strike before the humans could gain more allies or grow stronger. The Firenecks, known for their aggressive tactics, believed they could overpower the humans with their sheer numbers. They sent their fleet toward the human ship, expecting an easy victory. But they had severely underestimated the humans. Commander Rhea was ready. As soon as the Firenecks fleet entered range, the human battleship's defense systems powered up. Massive shields surrounded the ship, absorbing the first wave of enemy fire. The human weapons systems fired back, sending powerful beams of energy toward the Fireneck ships. The first few blasts were enough to disable the lead vessels, sending them spiraling into the void of space. The Fireneck's fleet quickly realized they were not dealing with an easy target. Despite their numbers, the humans were fast, precise, and deadly. Their ships moved with speed and coordination that left the Firenecks scrambling to react. The humans fought with a fierce determination, each shot landing with devastating accuracy. Back at the Galactic Council, the news of the battle spread like wildfire. Representatives from various species watched with shock and awe as the Firenecks fleet was slowly dismantled by the human forces. Many had expected the humans to retreat, to give in to the pressure. Instead, they fought back with everything they had. "This is not what we wanted," Ursana said quietly, watching the holographic display of the battle. The humans had made their stand, and now the galaxy was watching closely. She had hoped for a peaceful resolution, but it seemed that the humans had no interest in backing down. The battle raged for hours, and the Firenecks, once confident in their superiority, were forced to retreat. Their fleet was in ruins, scattered across the stars, with only a few ships remaining to flee. The humans had not only survived, they had proven themselves stronger than anyone had anticipated. As the smoke cleared, Commander Rhea stood aboard her ship, watching the damage to the Firenecks fleet. Her face was calm, but her eyes betrayed the toll the battle had taken. "We didn't want this," Rhea said softly to her officers, "but we will not be pushed around. We are here to stay, and we will defend ourselves." The battle had sent a powerful message to the galaxy. The humans were not to be underestimated. They had proven that they could fight and win against even the most powerful forces. For the first time, the galaxy was forced to reckon with the humans. What had once been seen as a small, insignificant species was now a force to be reckoned with. The balance of power had shifted, and the future of the galaxy seemed uncertain. The battle between the humans and the Firenecks had left the galaxy reeling. News of the humans' victory spread quickly, and it sparked fierce debates across the council. Some believed the humans had proven themselves, that their strength and determination were undeniable. Others feared that the humans' power would disrupt the delicate balance of peace in the galaxy. In the council chamber, representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered again, their faces serious and filled with tension. The question they had been avoiding for so long now demanded an answer. What would they do with the humans? Zorak, the leader of the Julians, stood first. The Firenecks were foolish to challenge the humans. They attacked without understanding the danger. But now we have to decide whether we can accept the humans into our galaxy, or if we must stand against them. Ursana, the Trelivian diplomat, spoke next. Her voice was calm, but there was a sharpness in her words. The humans have shown their strength, yes, but they have also shown that they are not here to conquer. They are here to survive, to build, and to find their place in the galaxy. They have no desire for war, only for peace and cooperation. We cannot let fear guide our decisions. Threx, the representative from the Vornok species, shook his head. Ursana, you are too trusting. The humans have proven they will not hesitate to fight. If they can defeat the Firenecks, who else might they turn their weapons on next? We cannot let them grow unchecked. They are a threat to all of us. A murmur of agreement spread through the room. Many members of the council felt that the humans, despite their claims of peace, could not be trusted. Their power was too great, and their willingness to use it had already been shown. Lyrena, the Aquarian representative, spoke up. We are forgetting something important. The humans did not seek this conflict. They were attacked first, and despite the battle, they still reached out, offering a chance for cooperation. We cannot let fear destroy what could be a great partnership. The debate continued, each representative standing firm in their beliefs. The meeting stretched on for hours, with no clear answer emerging. The council was at a crossroads. It was clear that the humans were a force to be reckoned with. But what role would they play in the future of the galaxy? As the council members argued, Ursana could see the fear in their eyes. Fear of the unknown, fear of change. The galaxy had been at peace for so long, and now the arrival of the humans threatened to upset that balance. But Ursana knew that the humans were not the enemy. They had shown themselves to be strong, yes, but also fair and willing to negotiate. Finally, the council came to a decision. It was not unanimous, but it was clear. The humans would be allowed to join the Galactic Council, but under strict conditions. Their strength would be respected, but they would have to prove that they could coexist with the other species, that they were truly committed to peace and cooperation. As the meeting ended, the representatives left the chamber, each with their own thoughts. The future of the galaxy was uncertain, but one thing was clear. The humans were no longer a small, insignificant species. They were a powerful force that could shape the future of the galaxy. And the council would have to learn to live with that fact. The decision had been made. The humans, once seen as insignificant and isolated, were now members of the Galactic Council. It had not been an easy decision. Many species still doubted the humans, fearing that their strength would tip the balance of power. Others, however, believed that the humans offered a new hope, a chance for unity in a galaxy that had grown stagnant in its old ways. As the news spread, reactions varied across the galaxy. Some species welcomed the humans with open arms, eager to forge new alliances and learn from them. Others, particularly the Firenecks and their allies, were less thrilled. The defeat they had suffered at the hands of the humans still stung, and they were not quick to forgive or forget. Commander Rhea stood on the bridge of her battleship, looking out at the stars. The galaxy had changed in ways she had never imagined. When the humans first arrived, they had been outsiders, unknown and underestimated. Now they were part of something much larger. It was a humbling thought, but also a proud one. The human empire had survived, and it had made its mark on the galaxy. "We've been accepted," Rhea said quietly to her officers, who stood nearby. "But this is just the beginning. There's still so much to prove." Her first officer, Lieutenant Garin, nodded. "We've made our place here, but the real challenge begins now. The Council will be watching closely. We'll have to prove that we belong, and that we can keep our word." Rhea's gaze hardened slightly. "We will. The humans are not known for backing down. We'll show the galaxy what we're capable of. Not through force, but through cooperation. We want peace, but we will not hesitate to fight for it." Meanwhile, back on the Council's homeworld, Ursana sat quietly in her chambers, reflecting on the decision the Council had made. The path ahead was uncertain, but she believed it was the right one. The humans were a new force in the galaxy, one that could bring fresh ideas and perspectives. Their resilience had already proven that they could survive in this harsh, competitive galaxy, and perhaps that was something the other species needed to learn. The decision had not been easy. There were still those who opposed it, who wanted to shut the humans out, but the majority had chosen to accept them. The galaxy was changing, and Ursana knew that the old ways of doing things would have to adapt. The humans had arrived, and they were here to stay. As the days passed, the humans began to integrate into the Council's activities, offering their knowledge and technology in exchange for cooperation. Slowly but surely, they built bridges with other species, though mistrust still lingered. The Firenecks and their allies were not quick to accept the new order, but the humans held their ground. The galaxy was not at peace yet, but the seeds for a new era had been planted. The Council had chosen the path of diplomacy, choosing to work with the humans rather than fight them. Whether this was the right choice, only time would tell. But one thing was certain: the humans were no longer a small, insignificant species. They were now a powerful player in the galaxy, a player who would shape the future of all. And as Rhea looked out at the stars, she knew that this was only the beginning of humanity's journey in the galaxy.